Hello, hope you're well. Okay, I'm gonna be eating some food, so forgive me.
Would consist of lots of sitting in front of their consoles or computers, along with a little bit of bathroom breaks and trips to the kitchen to get food and eat it in front of their desks. But if they're not there, it's almost certain that you can spot them at the mall lining up to be the first to get their hands on the latest games or trying to trade 40 games for $12 store credit. This was EB Games, the mecca of physical gaming. A holy site for anyone who grew up before cloud saves were a thing. Fast forward to now, and it's more like a merch museum with sale signs plastered all around the store. Why? Because EB Games is dying, slowly, painfully, and kinda awkwardly, like someone's still trying to sell you DVDs in the Netflix era. But how did we get here? And can EB Games actually survive? Or is this just another name to add to the retail graveyard? In the early 2000s,
I'm eating
EB Games was the place to be.
some grilled.
Pre-order bonuses? Check.
Still
Trading
yummy.
deals? Check. Midnight launches where grown adults screamed about Call of Duty like it was the final seconds of a major sports event? Triple check. You'd walk in and be greeted by towering walls of game cases, that distinct plastic and new carpet smell, and a part-time employee trying to upsell you a strategy guide. It was glorious. And here in Australia, EB Games practically had a monopoly. You either bought your games there or, well, you went outside and nobody wanted that. But as with all things, the golden age didn't last. Slowly, digital games started creeping in. Steam turned your PC into a one-stop shop. Why line up at midnight, fight a crowd, and pay full retail when you could just click download and start playing while eating Doritos in bed? EB Games, meanwhile, stuck to their physical first model. And as the industry went full digital, EB kinda didn't and went the other way. The result? Exactly how it is now. Barely surviving and holding for their dear life, or in short, dying. Instead of adapting, they doubled down. On what, exactly? Funkos. So many Funkos.
Gotta get some paper towel. Because Vanilla Coke has the same color scheme as Nemu.
But we'll come back to that later. If you walk into an EB Games today, you might find some games. Maybe. If you squint. But mostly, you'll see plushies, anime mugs, keychains, t-shirts, and yes, an army of dead-eyed Funko Pops watching you silently judge your life choices. And gamers have noticed. One Redditor put it bluntly, "I walked in looking for a controller and left with a Rick and Morty lunchbox and existential dread." Another user said, "At this point, EB Games is like the spirit Halloween of gaming. It pops up, sells you junk, then disappears." Harsh? Maybe, but not wrong. EB Games tried to pivot into a pop culture store, but ended up in a weird limbo. Too geeky for casuals, too shallow for hardcore fans. It's like they asked, what if Hot Topic sold fewer clothes and even fewer actual games? So, sales tanked, and then came the closures. In January 2020, EB Games Australia announced they were shuttering 19 unprofitable stores. And let's be real, unprofitable is corporate speak for nobody walked in except to use the air conditioner. Gone are the days where every time you go grocery shopping with your mum, you always ask to stop by EB Games, whether you actually have money to buy a new game or not. News started rolling out, and the news spread fast, all in bold, highlighted headlines. Speaking things such as EB Games to close stores across Australia, the death of physical retail in gaming, and gamers react with shrugs.
That's a nice
These
sound.
weren't isolated incidents. They were signs that the ship was leaking, and it was leaking really fast. Oh, and did we mention that EB Games is owned by GameStop? And just like GameStop, it also became a meme stock, survived on Reddit hype, and somehow still exists, thanks to a mix of nostalgia and diamond hands. Because of this, they suffered the same business model issues. They are too reliant on physical game copies, they are way too slow to adapt to the innovations of the digital age, and way too many Funko Pops. Seriously though, who is buying all these? So, when GameStop stumbled, EB Games felt the tremors and the aftershocks that it experienced. They were probably a whole lot stronger. Let's break down why EB Games is losing the war. First, digital sales dominate the game. Over 90% of all game sales in some regions are now digital. You can't fight the cloud with a clearance bin. People love convenience. I mean, who doesn't? Second, their pricing. Definitely not helping their case. EB often charges $10 to $30 more for the same game you can get cheaper elsewhere, online or even at JB Hi-Fi.
The one game that will always be $2 or $1 in an EB Games is The Elder Scrolls Online. It is so shit. Yeah, don't get back to eating because I have a lot of greasy fingers.
How are they even selling them for more when they aren't even the first choice when it comes to picking where to buy a video game? Next, trade-ins are a joke. You give them a mint condition PlayStation 4, which you handled like a newborn child, and they offer you an amount which is enough to buy a bad leftover sandwich. And lastly, the store feels empty, physically and emotionally. There's no vibe, no crowd, and no reason to hang around unless you're really in.
So, back when I upgraded to an Xbox Series X, I wanted to see if I could put in my actual Xbox and sort of just see if I can do the upgrade deal. They offered me, what's the word? They offered me, I think, $25 for my Xbox One X. I didn't take the deal because I used that Xbox for ages, and I didn't want to bother fucking with that. Because that would be losing a good Xbox. But for... so fucking sad. They offered all up around $50 for both of my Xbox One X's. I have two. One of them works a little bit worse, so I got a second one. That is not... It was so fucking disappointing. I don't know the word. That doesn't sound pretentious. It's so fucking stupid. Fucking hell. Alright, let's continue.
Into Naruto socks. Things aren't just how they used to be with all the innovations that came along. Okay, now let's play optimist for a second. Can EB Games actually turn this around? Maybe, if they stop trying to be everything and instead become something specific. Community events, indie showcases, retro games, gaming cafes, smaller specialized stores that give people a reason to visit, and stores with personality. Because the only way to beat online convenience is offline experience. Let's be honest, if an EB Games hosted a Mario Kart tournament with pizza and prizes, we'd show up. The nostalgic feeling and the experience of being around people who share the same passion over a video game you love could be their biggest weapon. But if they keep doubling down on overpriced anime bathrobes and Skyrim mugs, yeah, we're good. EB Games is more than a store. Or rather, it was. For a generation of gamers, it was where memories were made. Even if half of those memories involved getting $2 for a copy of FIFA 14. But in a world where games are downloaded and everything's one click away, the EB Games experience no longer fits in the gaming scene. Now, unless something drastic changes, it looks like EB is headed to the great big bargain bin in the sky. But hey, I guess the bright side is we'll always have the Funkos, which actually isn't a silver lining for a lot of people. So that's the story of EB Games, from Gamer Haven to Merch
I'm
Museum.
gonna drink another Coke.
If you made it this far, congrats. You officially qualify for $1.25 in store credit. Kidding. Unless you brought in 20 PS3 games. But seriously, if you've ever lined up for a midnight launch, argued with someone about pre-order bonuses, or walked out with a plastic bag full of dreams, this one was for you. Hit that like button if you felt the nostalgia. Subscribe for more deep dives into gaming, business, and why all your favorite childhood places are mysteriously disappearing.
Let's see what else we do. It's gonna be a reaction of a reaction, okay.
We're doing you laugh, you lose. If you make me laugh, I will pay you $100.
What's your secret to staying so hydrated?
Seriously.
Yeah.
I get wet when I...
No, say something else. Please say something else. Try again.
Can you repeat the question? What's
Yeah.
your secret to
How
staying
do you stay so hydrated? Let's see.
I get wet when I...
No, no, stop. Say it another way.
How do I stay hydrated?
Yes.
Okay. I drink water?
There you go.
What? God damn it! What was that? Wait, why did he say it like that? Hold on. I don't even know why I laughed. I'm so
Bankruptcy speedrun hope. This helps the damage.
Don't worry. This time, I'm not gonna laugh.
I can assure you that your brain specifically said, ooh, I hope I get a big pile of to put in my mouth. That would be so yummy wummy, sir.
Well, I don't want it. This is a mix-up.
Steven, you're making a scene.
We cannot just replace the dicks you ordered because you
What the f? This video! I hate you. I didn't even laugh at the clip. I laughed because you. That was so stupid.
Fucking hell. Sorry, I'm
God
just
damn
gonna
it!
vomit with it. Pretty gross.
You see the kid looking straight into the camera. I loved it. There it is. Stare down.
How long can you go? It's getting tough right now. It's getting tough.
Smile.
Not
Bro.
Come on. Flared the nostrils. Try to lock
That
in.
kid is.
Not blinking either.
Here we go. Perez.
Baker exchange
What the
with Faye the other day.
What the?
The fuck?
That was more like the look.
I'm not gonna. Can we skip over that? Fuck me, no. Ow, my stomach hurts, my tummy. I'm gonna put away, I'm gonna put a burger into the fridge. Lest I risk vomiting. Fuck, I forgot this. So I need to look for this sauce. Oh fuck. So something happened. I'm having like weird fucking cramps in my stomach. It gets the wind out of me. It's fucked. I think we could play a Ripple, but I don't know. Hello, Faithful. I hope you're well.
Ever walked through a shopping center and thought, wasn't there a Donut King here? Or maybe you spotted
shit,
a
Donut
Gloria
King.
jeans you hadn't seen in years. Their lights off, sign fading, and a lonely for lease sticker on the window. If you're an Aussie who grew up grabbing cinnamon donuts after school, or treating yourself to a caramel latte that definitely wasn't artisan, well, they were all under the umbrella of a fast food empire that
Donut
once
King.
owned the Aussie food court, that now is barely holding on. That empire is Retail Food Group, or RFG.
Oh.
You might not know the name, but you definitely know their brands. Donut King, Michelle's Patisserie, Brumby's, Gloria Jeans, Crust Pizza, Pizza Capers, DeBella Coffee, The Coffee Guy, and Cafe To You, all of them sit under RFG's once mighty portfolio. And at its peak, this company was the kingpin of franchised food in Australia. Today though, their stock is trading for literal cents. Stores are vanishing from malls across the country. Franchisees have walked away, and customers, well, they stopped caring. So, what went wrong? Why did one of Australia's biggest food franchising groups go from mall royalty to cautionary tale? Let's roll back the clock. RFG was born in 1989, quietly operating out of the Gold Coast. For a while, they flew under the radar. They acquired well-known food brands and pumped them into shopping centers across the country. Their strategy was all about franchising. RFG licensed out the brands instead of operating them themselves. They sold the ingredients, took a cut of the sales, and called it a day. In theory, it was a genius plan. It was recurring income with minimal overhead. Let franchisees take the risk, and RFG just keeps clipping the ticket. They earned revenue from franchise fees, royalties, marketing contributions, and by selling branded products, often at a premium, back to their own stores. It was franchising on steroids. By the early 2010s, RFG had exploded. Their brands were everywhere.
Faith.
A
Faith,
Gloria
faith,
Jeans in
faith.
every food court, a Donut King next to every supermarket, a Crust Pizza on every second delivery app. By 2013, their stock was trending upwards as investors were thrilled and analysts praised the aggressive growth. It was a retail dream machine. But that dream had a dark side, and it was about to unravel. Behind the scenes, franchisees were drowning. Many reported being locked into long-term contracts that felt less like partnerships and more like traps. Fees kept stacking up. Royalties, advertising, ingredients, and sometimes even rent were all controlled by RFG. Some franchisees were struggling to pay themselves a living wage. Others were operating at a loss but couldn't get out without walking away from everything they'd built. And then RFG did something that pushed the entire model to the edge. They started opening more stores, sometimes right next to existing ones. Franchisees weren't just fighting their usual competition, they were fighting their own company as well. Because for RFG, every new franchise was a short-term cash injection, a big fee up front and more products sold into the system. But in the long term, it meant oversaturation, cannibalized sales, and a house of cards held up by new sign-ups instead of sustainable growth. And it all came crashing down in December 2017. That's when the Sydney Morning Herald dropped a bombshell investigation. The article, titled "Cup of Sorrow, the Brutal Reality of Australia's Franchise King," was published, and it peeled back the curtain on what was really happening inside RFG. Franchisees shared heartbreaking stories of lost homes and failing marriages. People who had bet everything on their dream business were now bankrupt, all while RFG kept collecting its fees. The report accused the company of turning its franchise network into a profit machine for shareholders at the expense of real people's livelihoods. The public reaction was immediate, and it was brutal. RFG's share price had collapsed, wiping out hundreds of millions in market value. Within months, it had fallen to double digits, and eventually to single digits where it sits today. As of the recording of this video, it hasn't recovered. But the scandal wasn't the only thing working against RFG. Because while the headlines were hammering the company, the food world around it was transforming. Shopping centers, the beating heart of RFG's empire, were losing relevance. Malls that were once bustling on weekends now had more for lease signs than customers. And then, of course, COVID arrived and turned the slow bleed into a crisis. People weren't hanging out in food courts anymore. They were ordering online, supporting local cafes, or skipping overpriced chains altogether. At the same time, Aussie consumer tastes were evolving fast. People wanted fresh, ethical, Instagrammable food. Things like small batch coffee, handmade pastries, and sourdough everything. In that world, Gloria Jeans started looking like a joke. Michelle's was stuck in 2006. And unless you were chasing nostalgia or dragging your kid through a Westfield, you weren't going to a Donut King on purpose. Meanwhile, crust pizza, once the fancy alternative to Domino's, had fallen behind the pack. Newer pizza chains were nailing modern branding and flavor.
Why does anyone ever eat at
were winning on quality and personality, and crust stayed beige. So, with declining relevance, failing franchisees, and a destroyed public image, could RFG bounce back? Well, they tried. To be fair, they really tried. The company brought in new leadership, they restructured debt, sold off DiBella Coffee, and promised franchisees a new era of transparency and support. There were talks of store revamps, menu overhauls, digital ordering platforms, all the buzzwords you'd expect in a turnaround pitch. But here's the thing. When your core business model is built on volume over value, it's hard to fix it by polishing the surface. Because the real issue wasn't the donuts or the coffee or even the branding, it was that the system put corporate profits ahead of franchisee success. That trust between corporate and franchisee was broken. And without trust, you don't have a network. You just have a bunch of people trying to leave. So where does that leave RFG today? Well, the company's still listed on the ASX, still technically in business, and yes, a few stores are still open. But let's be honest, the golden years are long gone. Walk through almost any mall in Australia and you'll see the signs. A Donut King with no one in line, a Michelle's Patisserie that looks like it hasn't had a fresh delivery all week, or a Gloria Jeans with one tired barista and a forgotten playlist echoing off the empty tables. The brands are still standing, but they're not exactly thriving. There's no real investor hype anymore, no exciting turnaround story. And most of the public doesn't even realize these brands are all part of the same group, but they can tell something's off. That spark these places used to have, it's not coming back. And that's what really stings. These brands were once genuine Aussie success stories, built on familiarity, convenience.
If that King ever goes, I'm gonna be fucking horrid. It's gonna be fucking terrible because I very much like lime milkshakes, and guess what? You can actually buy at Donut King. lime milkshakes. And so if fucking if Donut King fucks off, I'm not gonna get any lime milkshakes anymore. Fuck me, that's gonna be fucking annoying.
And a bit of childhood nostalgia. But somewhere along the line, that connection got lost, replaced by spreadsheets,
Lime
short-term
is
thinking,
yum.
and a franchise model that stopped serving the people who actually ran the stores. In the end, the collapse of Retail Food Group is a warning to every company chasing rapid expansion without taking care of the people at the core of the business. You can only stretch so far before something breaks. And when it
Generally
breaks,
told us
it's not just numbers
the
on a balance
accusations,
sheet,
not the
it's
actual.
someone's family, someone's future, and someone's dream. So, the next time you walk past an old Donut King or a Quiet Gloria jeans and wonder what happened, you'll know. You're looking at the ruins of a business that lost its way. It forgot to put people first, and in their industry, that comes with a high cost. In RFG's case, that's hundreds of millions of lost valuation and the loss of trust in their brand. So what do you think? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below, and let's
I just want to
discuss.
get the lime
And if you
milkshakes. I don't
enjoyed
care about
this
the
story,
people.
give us a
Lime
thumbs
milkshakes.
up, hit subscribe, and don't forget to ring.
Oh, fuck me. So I was browsing Twitter, I know. Very bad, Crime Club, very bad. Welcome back, Nemo. I was browsing Twitter. I came across a very saddening bit of content. It was a video of a person being crushed to death by an elephant. It was... I wish I didn't see it. The video was very long. It was entirely a guy who annoyed an elephant a little bit. Then the elephant forced him onto the ground and fucking stomped his body, folded him in certain ways, and then stomped more, further destroying his... Oh, I wish I didn't say that. I wish I didn't have to say that. I was browsing a fucking... I think it was like a pirate nation. I was browsing one of this guy's fucking things about... It was a post related to India being Dark Souls. And in the fucking replies was this horribly... it was like a whole video of the guy poking an elephant and the elephant forcing him onto the ground, and it fucking... I wish I didn't have to fucking say that. I'm glad I didn't have audio enabled, because I would have heard him screaming because of... he was trying to get out of the way, but it didn't go for his head. It left his brain alive as it crushed his... I fucking hate that. It's so fucking So, Nemu, would you want to play a Repo and Nemu? So, the main thing that I should put into clarity, they didn't actually tag it with gore or anything along the line. So I reported it. I reported it. I know Frankie's available. More Apple. I'm asking Frankie if he's down, but not sure if he is. Yeah, this is the post in relation to the thing. I haven't blocked, I made a report because they didn't actually tag it or flag it as being what is essentially a live leak video. So, it's not good. While we wait, Nemu, we could sit in a voice chat. While we wait for, so who should I ask? Peggy's probably busy. Yep, Peggy's busy. Peggy's playing Valorant for an hour. Disabled issue. Oh fuck. Okay. See, play Ripple. Shit. I'm gonna ask Alan. Play Ripple. I'm messaging Lord now. Down to play Ripple. It's gonna be a Hail Mary, but I don't think it'll. Oh. We could also include this. That's fair. Play Ripple. Maybe I ask you. Anyone doubts play Ripple? The Ripple? The Ripple. Okay, it seems likely. I don't think anyone's gonna be billing. I've messaged out the Minecraft group chat. That one. This one, I messaged this one, I messaged this one, I messaged this one, I messaged Frankie again. Frankie was playing in the other stream, in the last stream, which is pretty good. Message Cove, I guess because I did message in the group chat is equivalent to asking everyone here. Would you want a voice chat? Nemo? Nemo? Playlists. Yeah, it seems like we aren't. Waiting. I should be scheduling F beforehand. Yesterday, the fucking pieces aligned so perfectly for us to. Like yesterday, the pieces to have to do a gaming stream was so perfect. This little saddening. Well, I shouldn't be too surprised. I guess we can't really play Ripple. Because 2 is scary, but 3 is funny. 3 is funny. 1 is nightmare. 1 is not unrealistic. Oh god, I feel heated. What the fuck? Okay, I'm gonna check if the aircon's on, because if the aircon's on, that means I'm too warm. Getting too warm, chat. I'm sitting too warm. Oh. The aircon isn't on. I'm just sleepy. I'm just fucking sleep. What the fuck? Well, I'm not sure what to really do. Nemo? Oh my fucking god. Fuck. What the So, I am having cramps in my stomach. Likely from dehydration. Fuck. I'm trying not to. It's like getting some of the worst pains and just consistently. It's not even really pulsing, it's just kind of fucking getting in. So it's fun. So, yes. I'm gonna share my screen. That's my dog. That's my. She's my dog. She's adorable. Hello. You should get some sleep, Nemo. I don't think it's gonna be a very long stream. It's gonna go for an hour and stop. Sorry. Fuck is that? Oh. Okay, it seems like today is going to be an off day for most people. So, yeah. Let's raid Teletus. Sorry, chato. Sorry, sumimasen. Thank you for coming. It's just today's a bit of an off day, so bye bye. Love you all. Moi. Au revoir.
No, no. Hi, Crump. Welcome in.